Hello, this is National Chess Master All Rats. I'm here at chess.com to analyze a game submitted by a member. He is known as me on this thread. Now it's not me, Mr. All Rats, it's somebody else. He's rated about 1519, I think it said on his PGN file he gave me, and his opponent is 2119. So it's quite an interesting game. Let's have a look, see what we can do to help Black out. Okay, so we've seen don't see this variation of the Benoni too often. White's supposed to come out okay on it, but if Black's prepared, he should be fine. And now here's kind of an odd variation of the Benoni, because now it's not really a Benoni at all. White has not committed to playing pawn c4. So what opening is this? How do we classify this? There is some theory on this position. I ran a check on the databases, but let's just see. Black played e6 and it didn't work out all that well for him. Let's consider some other candidate moves here. Okay, d6 is certainly fine. Okay, what does that do? Well, it opens up the diagonal for the light squared bishop, and then Black's going to follow up with g6 and bishop g7 and castle and have a playable game. I think that's his best choice. To go in that order. If he plays g6 right away, White might even gambit a pawn with d6. Okay, and then Black will just seek to have his active bishop on the long diagonal and advance his queenside pawns, maybe even try and gambit one Benko's gambit style to get some play. And I think Black can work on this if he ever runs this position again. This is the way he should play it. Excuse me. Okay, so let's see what Black did play, and let's talk about that, because I think the bulk of the discussion revolves around this move here. Now, it's not really a Benoni again, because White's pawn is not on c4. So White comes up with a very interesting, and I think good move here. He just takes and puts the commitment to Black. How's Black going to recapture? And again, there was some theory on this, and f takes e6 is played most often, and that doesn't seem to work out. But let's just contemplate d takes e6 here. Okay, I think it's a good move. It keeps the pawn structure symmetrical, and now it's true White can, and the most obvious move White would be playing would be taking on d8, and it's true that he's stripped Black of his castling possibilities. But it's come at a price, and that price is White no longer has a queen to attack Black with. And there was an article in Chess Life about 20 years ago, I don't remember exactly, where Grandmaster Joel Benjamin was showing variations where he would forego castling to get a queen exchange like this, and then sit and play chess, and he was quite successful at it. But anyway, what I'd like to say here is that it's true White looks like he's getting a couple of tempos here. He can play bishop g5, and now he's threatening to double the pawns or make a pin here. Black can play bishop e7, and what's White going to do? Well, he's got castling with a check. That certainly looks good, yummy. But Black just plays bishop d7, and what does White really have here? d7 is well covered. White can eliminate a defender with bishop takes f6, but what else is White going to attack it with? The answer is nothing. Okay, he can bring his knight into f3. So let's just play a little like what I say, fantasy chess. Bishop takes. Now knight f3 doesn't help to try to get to e5. It doesn't help because the bishop now covers f6. So White really doesn't have a lot to show. So let's take back that move. It just doesn't work. Let's just continue White's development and play e4. Okay. Now Black's going to do the same thing. He's going to develop. Okay. And White develops. That's true. Black can't castle, but really his position is totally satisfactory. There are no weaknesses in his position, and White's going to have to try to prove somehow that his position is worth what he's given up here. And let's just kind of, and that's the option to attack with a queen on the board. So it's actually Black's move here. Let's just kick the bishop. That's fine. Kick it out of there. Maybe play some preventative moves. A6 to keep White out of b5. Really, white has no targets here. So I think this is a perfectly satisfactory line. And again, black's developed, except his rooks aren't connected. But we'll take care of that soon enough. Playing a6 allows, and maybe b6 will allow a quick king c7 in. And if we get checked on with bishop f4, we park the king on b7 at the appropriate moment. I mean, there's all kinds of possibilities here. It's beyond the scope of this video, but I believe white could, or black could do well by sitting down and studying this type of position. So the lesson here is go ahead and try letting your opponent exchange queens on you, because he really doesn't have a lot to show for it. If you draw with black, that's perfectly satisfactory. And if you're drawing a player 600 points higher than you with black, that's even more so. So make white prove things. So as I said, f takes e6 didn't really seem to work out, and I spent some time looking at this. I was a little frustrated trying to find better moves here for black, and it just seems that white gets this nice positional advantage as a result of this move. Let's see if we can find it on the PGN. Let's see. One thing I don't like about the server here is the way it manipulates the PGN. Here it is, E4. Okay, now let's just go on. Now what's going to happen here is black has some potential weaknesses in his position now, and the weakness is going to be the pawn on e6. So the question is, how do we deal with that? Well, it seems natural to play a move like d6, as black will do here momentarily, but I think black needs to come up with a new strategy. Okay, and I think this pawn on d7 needs to stay there. Okay, needs to stay there to anchor in e6, because when you push it, it just makes that square weak. Now, it's true that the d7 pawn is backward on the open file, but it's not something, again, white's readily going to be able to attack. So let me just give a possible fantasy line here. I'm going to start with bishop e7. Why there? Because it gets ready to castle. Okay, nothing wrong with castling as quickly as you can, right? So let's play bishop e7 here. Okay, now maybe we have to watch out for e5. Okay, yeah, I knew I was thinking something else here. Okay, he played knight c6, but let's avoid playing d6 altogether as it happens. We'll get down to it. Okay, now knight f3. Now there is a mild threat of e5 here. Okay, now as I said, we can deal with that. There's a lot of ways to deal with that. And here's kind of a surprising one: queen c7. Okay, now it's true that the queen can be kicked, but watch. Okay, queen c7. Okay, I'm just trying to find something forcing for white and show you it's not there. Now queen b8. Okay, now e5 is stopped, cold in its tracks, and black is preparing for a6 and kick the knight out. Okay, and now if white tries g3 in this position to play bishop f4, black just goes ahead with a6, and then after bishop f4, e5. And unless I'm missing something, white's going to drop a piece because his bishop on f4 is hanging and his knight on b5 is hanging. And I haven't gotten to the gist of black's plan here yet. It's coming. I just wanted to show that white didn't have anything he could really do here. So this is really not good for white in the long run. Black's just going to proceed as I showed. But the key that black is going to be playing for in the main line is b6. And then fianchetto this bishop. That's how it will get developed. But we're not even going to do that right away. We're going to get the king castled. But that's how this bishop is going to come into play, and we're going to keep e6 under defense by the pawn on d7. So let's just back up again. As I said, Queen c7 I think is a better move. So let's just continue with white's development. Okay, he played bishop b5 in the game. Now is he getting ready to push and take it. I mean, take and push. Well, so what? Let him. Okay, now if white takes, we can take back with the b pawn. We can take back with the queen, and if he pushes e5, well, so what? Now we have knight g4 available if we want it. That's a possibility. And if we're taking with the pawn, we have knight d5, and the knight is nicely anchored. So the point is, attempts by white to break this position open just don't really go anywhere. So white castles, and then black castles, and then maybe white develops this bishop. As I say, eventually black plays b6 and gets his light squared bishop into play, and e6 is covered. As it turned out, e6 became a problem for him. Let me find it here in the PGN. Okay, he played d6, and then bishop b5 and queen c7. Okay, and just going forward a little bit, black's getting developed, but all of a sudden white has a good move. And here I see a note that black thought he had won a pawn, but black doesn't really win a pawn. The white just gangs up on it. It's isolated, and he gangs up on it and will capture it. So rook e1, and black really needs to get to finish his development in castle, maybe even castle queenside. That way there's some potential counterplay with a kingside attack. So castling long is okay for black here, instead of just kicking the bishop. And now we're kicking another bishop. You need to finish development first. You can't go doing these things. Okay, it's in all my videos. Develop, develop, develop. Okay, and now after knight takes, white's regained the pawn, and black has a permanent weakness on e6. And even though white doesn't have the two bishops, he doesn't need them. He's got the better game because of that weak pawn on e6. And now this just drives the queen to attack it, but to help attack that pawn. And finally black completes his development, but there goes the pawn, and black never had any compensation for it. So as I said, it was a weakness that black created. Number one, by the way he exchanged in the opening, and I showed a possible way around that. And number two, by his pushing pawn to d6. I think a better strategy was to fianchetto that light squared bishop. And now white's just up a pawn with, and black has no compensation. So it's just a matter of time for black to win this. And white just seeks exchanges and gets them. And whoops, speaking of exchanges, there went the exchange. And at this point, one more move, black decided to resign. He's just down material. But there was chances to save it and make white frustrated out of the game. I hope you get to play this guy again and play the same opening and study this and come back armed. Anyway, it was a pleasure doing this for you. I will make another video soon, and I'll thank you for your time looking at this one. Take care. Bye.